because, these three here understand the uses of those tools that were provided maybe in the engine or, the software, but that were deliberately hidden from a lot of people, like the multi-site, for very good reason, because you don't need to be getting in there and screwing some stuff up. So from a 3.0, from a developer's perspective, it's amazing, because custom post types, real estate, podcasting, movie theater, a movie site. I mean, the applications are endless, but from a standard user format, some of the blockbuster things that have come for that were things like the dashboard. So I don't know exactly who all your users are, but I'll just make those caveats that custom post types and the multi-site features are probably more a developer type thing, where Matt's company sets multi-site up, shows them how to use it, but says stay away from that function file and this code and all that stuff. Hiding features is such an awesome thing, I just want to reframe that for just a second, because I don't know,
A lot of, I guess, typical blog users wouldn't even have noticed anything different in 3.0. It was a lot of under the hood.
And I was at a conference, and Matt Mullenweg, who's the founder of WordPress, all that kind of stuff, and they started asking questions about multi-site, and he said, we deliberately hid it. You have to activate it, within some code and stuff, because if you have certain questions and you're not like a Randy here who can tune up code all day, you might want to stay away from that burning fire that's going to, So just a caveat to say.
I would add also that using it for things like frequently asked questions or a glossary has been fantastic, in the sense like you might want to lay it out where all your questions are in a row, but you're using some jQuery or something to hide some accordion type things. And if you just put a bunch of HTML into your WordPress post editor blank, somebody's going to remove a div tag, and then the whole thing falls apart. So if you have a custom
hit the visual tab and come back
it's
to the
gone.
HTML. What happened? Where'd my line breaks go?
Like having the FAQ where the question is the title and the answer is your main content, and then you can do the HTML around that in your template instead, you prevent maybe some headaches going forward.
Yeah, we've been working this week actually on a solution, an idiot-proof solution for a commercial association of realtors here in Dallas-Fort Worth, and all these realtors want to promote their properties. And so what they've been doing is every day, this woman in the office, this poor woman, gets hundreds of emails from realtors saying, this is my property, please send it out to everybody and make them buy it. And then she turns around, hits forward, hits send to all list, and sends that out. And she does that like 300 times a day. So what we said was, first of all, the IT guys were like, please help us, because their email was just crashing every day. And so what we've done is we've used Gravity Forms, and we built a real simple form that asks for the property title, a description of the property, in one image, or a PDF upload. And we've password protected that form, so only real estate members can get to that form. Then they can post that information. This woman in the office gets an email that they have a new post, a new property, and she can then choose to approve that right then, or she can wait till 5 o'clock and approve all of them for that day at once. And then we've integrated into MailChimp. They have a great RSS to email thing. So she'll approve all those posts, which they'll then post to the website, and which, by the way, we have that in a properties custom post type. Cool. And then at 6 p.m. every day, MailChimp comes in, grabs all the new posts, and sends it out in one clean email to everybody.
Nice.
So it's been the clients love it, because it's one email. It's easier for the admin, for the woman in the office, and all the properties are now on their website, which is of value to the real estate agents, because it's one more place they're promoting their information. So it's so cool how you can take this tool and customize it to meet the needs of businesses.
Stephanie, did you have one more comment?
Yeah, I was going to say that the WordPress core developers are very aware of the different audiences that WordPress is serving, and so I had to follow the development of 3.0 really closely, because I was writing about it and my book was due before 3.0 came out. Wow. And so I was in the IRC chat room.
Fun around your household, wasn't it?
No. So I was in the IRC chat room, like watching the developers discuss these features, and the menu feature was actually really hard for them to get out the door, because they kept wanting to make it perfect. And, it was a complicated feature to put in, and they at one point they were worried they weren't going to get it done. And they were like, we might have to push menus back to 3.1. And everybody said, you can't do that, because all the other major features of 3.0 are for developers.
Exactly.
It's the custom post types and the multi-site. That stuff is going to be invisible to most end users. The only new thing they're going to get then is 2010, the new theme. So we've got to have a user-centric feature in this version, or it's going to fall flat on its face. And so they really sweated over that and pushed the release back about, at least a month to get those menus in there, because they knew that otherwise there would be no fanfare about 3.0 among the end users.
Yeah.
Any questions coming on Twitter? Well, let's open it up. We have time for a few questions from the audience. Yes.
I have two. I guess I'll just do one and then you cut back. What do you recommend? What do you guys recommend for a relative newcomer to as far as like sites or forums or newsletters or whatever to check out, other than taking a book?
I have a wonderful book you can check out.
It's on a timely basis. I'm sure it's a timely book, but parallel to that, what else do you do?
I'll put in a plug for my good friend Lisa Sabin-Wilson, WordPress for Dummies.
Very good book.
Very good book. It's in its 3rd edition, just updated for 3.0. She went through the same stress as you.
Yes, she did.
And then WPBeginner.com is a good tutorial type site.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two for me.
What do you guys use as far as keeping abreast of just developments, new plugins, recommendations?
For end user, for like a blogger, a maintainer, or a developer. Which, yes, okay. Developer, our business, webdesign.com, does training. We have 120 hours of professional training in there. And so we try to offer, when 3.0 comes out, what do custom post types mean and how can you leverage them? So we have a professional, just one guy devoted to doing training. So webdesign.com for me, and I'll pass to the next.
Yeah, let's just look at it more generally. What do you guys use to keep up with the WordPress news, new plugins and themes, or new issues, those kinds of things? Just to broaden it a little bit, let's have all the panelists answer. How do you keep up with the world of WordPress?
I'm keeping up with like core development of WordPress more than plugins and themes. I mean, I kind of have those on the periphery, but so I keep up with wpdevel.wordpress.com, which is where the developers are talking about the core developments in WordPress, and hashing out the ins and outs of the new features that are going to be in 3.1, and that's where their development schedule is. And then I'm in the IRC channels. I just leave them on at work every day, and if I'm not in a meeting or something, I'll glance through and see what's going on. I also kind of I have a bunch of RSS feeds, none of which I can remember off the top of my head, except WP Tavern is a good one. I like hanging out in the forum there and just kind of seeing what people are up to. WP Tavern. The news page on that one has like a good summary of what happened in the developer chats and kind of a general like what's going on in the WordPress world. And then the forum is kind of a lower traffic forum than the major one on WordPress.org, and just has kind of questions about. It's a good place for people who are like using WordPress in business and have questions and are talking about some of the things that they're doing.
Yeah, as far as keeping up, I'm probably not very good at it. I think mostly I probably get it from Twitter, following guys like Randy and Randy here on Twitter. They keep on top of stuff, following some of the developers. As far as a resource for coding, I probably spend a lot of time just on the WordPress codex itself, looking for tags and things like that I need.
We do some RSS to email stuff with some great high quality content blogs. 6revisions.com is a great site just for general web design, web developer knowledge, and they talk a lot about WordPress. Smashing Magazine has some really good stuff. What else do we get emails for every day? Webappers.com I think is one that we get every day. Anything else y'all can think of? Web Design Ledger, yeah. There's several sites you can just go sign up for their email updates. If you don't like what they send you, you can unsubscribe. But of those, I would say 6 Revisions is the one I would highly recommend.
Is it the number 6 or SIX?
SIX. Mm-hmm.
And I also like Joste Valk and Frederick Town's podcast. It's WP wp-community.org is their central site. Yoast is a big name plugin developer in the WordPress community, and Frederick Towns is the CTO at Mashable. He's the author of the W3 Total Cache plugin that I love. They use it on Mashable to do caching and stuff, and they released it. They interview WordPress core developers and other plugin and theme authors too, so that's more developer-minded, I think, than WP Tavern, but they both have good podcasts for keeping up with WordPress news.
Yeah, and that brings me to another resource. Yoast maintains one of the WordPress cross-reference sites.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you just Google for WordPress xref, XREF, that's a linked copy of the source code of WordPress. And so if there's a function that you don't know how to use and you can't find anything in the codex on it, it's probably because one of the developers hasn't taken the time to write up the codex article, but it's documented in the source. They're really good about putting in a little document block above every function. And you just go type in the name of the function, and it'll take you right to the spot in the source, and you can read the doc block above it and figure out what the heck is going on. And if you've got some PHP programming experience, you can follow right through the source code and figure out what it's doing.
I would add another great resource, especially for beginners, but this actually extends to advanced users, is WordPress.tv.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a lot of video tutorials. And we send some of our clients there. If we can't get with them to do a training in person, we'll send them several videos to watch. How do I create a post? How do I create a page? I mean, from that basic stuff all the way up to some real advanced stuff. It's all visual, it's all video based, so that's really nice.
Yeah, I have my students use those. So in my class at the University of Texas at Dallas, all the students build WordPress websites as their final project. And every assignment I have them do, I have a video or two from WordPress TV so that they can see what it is they're supposed to be doing. So, all right.
That's a great resource.
Question?
Yeah, I was wondering, I've been online a couple of times and there were all these different WordPress developers and articles recommend the plugins are great, but don't overuse them, don't put up too much. Are there any plugins that you encode instead to prevent any of your WordPress sites from being bloated and cause slowdowns? I know RSS feeds can be encoded into the backend, but is there any other ones that you do?
Yeah, and a more general question too, just how many plugins on average would you say you run on each site? Just kind of answer that.
Too many?
Yeah, we'll start with you on this one.
I have a core set that I start with almost every time, and I would probably say it probably ends up being about a dozen by the time I'm done.
What are the core ones that you couldn't build a site without? Or wouldn't want to?
All-in-one SEO pack, Google Analyticator. A lot of times I'll use like a capability manager if I'm going to assign some different roles and some different capabilities to those users. What else is on my list?
Kismet.
Well, it's just there.
You have to
Kismet.
activate it.
That's true.
Hello
Yeah.
Dolly? Who uses Hello Dolly?
I always delete Hello Dolly.
You delete it?
Talk about bloat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feature load. Corey, what about you?
I would say a Kismet, just because spam protection and WordPress will get hit with it. So a general business person, I would say for a business site, a Kismet for spam protection. Google Sitemap Generator plugin. Activate that at the very minimum to get search engine results. And then the third, as you mentioned, is All-in-One SEO Pro. That's to tweak it, but out of the box, if you activate it and enable it, you're good to go. And then a good contact form plugin. So there's good ones out there. We've got a free one called Contact Buddy, but Gravity will do it, all that kind of stuff.
But how many plugins do you run? Like how many do you run on iThemes?
Me?
How many plugins?
Probably 5 more than we need. You asked a great question about plugins, and the great thing about WordPress, there's so many plugins, but people just, I want that little bar on the side, and I want this little retweet button there and everything, and you have 500 plugins. And I'm telling you, one of my guys told me one time, and this is a good point, is you can have a security risk too, because you got 500 different plugins by 500 different authors who all don't necessarily update their plugins for security risks. So even when you have it deactivated, you need to delete those files, is what they told us, and I think that's good practice. So I don't like a ton of plugins because, one, it can wear down your site and slow down things, and it's a security risk. And why do you need all those things? Do you want the helicopter? Because you may, and that's fine. But with all the bling bling.